Okay, for this project number 6, we have the spreadsheet shown here, and I've already gone ahead and put in some of the entries, but I'll review those one at a time. So the first entry that I have in is this one here, which calculates the age. So basically, what we're putting in is the formula that takes the year of the of today, which is of course 2014, and it subtracts the year at D3. Now it won't give you the exact age, but it will give you, um, for example, the person is going to be the age that it shows here sometime this year. So it's looking at 1960 and it's looking at 2014, and it's basically just taking the difference between the two of them. So when you enter the formula, you might end up getting a date, as we see here. And if you do get that as a date, you'll have to reformat that. In order to reformat, just right-click on it, go to Format Cells, and just change it to a number, say with no decimal places, and just say OK. And that way you'll get 54. So the age is 54 for the first one. Now for the service is calculated the same way. That's where you can see the arrow pointing here. Service is 26, and the only difference here is that we're taking the year today, which is still 2014, minus the year at C3, which is 1988. So we'll take the 2 years and subtract them. And just as we saw before, when you enter it, and because you are working with dates, the spreadsheet thinks that you want to display the answer as a date. So you will have to format this as a number as well with 0 decimal places, and it should show up then as 26. The next thing that we have to do is get the total, because in the problem it mentioned that the person can retire. Not saying they're going to retire, but the person can retire when their age and service add up to 80. So if we add 54 and 26, we'll see that it does add up to 80, and this person can retire if they wish to. The next entry then is the retirement year. And the retirement year references back to the fact that it has to be 80. So the first thing we see in the formula is 80, and 80 minus I3 would be 80 minus 80, and then we divide that by 2, and then we add the year of today. So 80 minus 80 is going to give us 0, and 0 divided by 2 will be 0, and then we'll just add the year of today, and that will give us 2014. So no big calculation going on there. But if we look at the one below that, for example, we'll see that 80 minus I4, so that would be 9. And then the reason why it's divided by 2 is because for every a year that you work, you're also getting 1 year older. So that's why we have to take the difference and divide it by 2. So in other words, this person is not going to have to work another 9 years to get to 80. They're only going to have to work another, say, 4.5, or round it off, 5 years. And this person can retire in 5 years' time in 2019. So that's why we put the formula in, divide by 2, and add the year of today. So that'll basically give us 4.5 plus 2014 will give us 2019. 2019 So in 2019 that person can retire. we're not specifying the date, we're just specifying the year. So that's basically it for the first 4 columns. The next thing that we want to do is we want to kind of analyze this information. And in order to analyze this information, what we're going to do in these last 2 columns is type in frequency count. And to start this off, what we do is we type in what's called bin values. And bin values are just a list of values that would be of interest to us. So the years that are of interest to us are the years 2010 through 2030. So I just typed in the years 2010 through 2030 in this column, and you know, there's no formulas or anything in there. It's just that, you know, these are the years that I want to look at to see when people are retiring. So basically, we're looking at a 20-year span here. So the formula that I want to put in here is this one here. It's the frequency of J3 to J29 in L3 to L23. So let me just get this this arrow out of the way so that we can see what's going on. I'll just move it over here for now, and I'll move this over here for now, and I'll take this over here for now, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so what the formula is doing then, it's looking in this column here, and it's saying these are the retirement years. So if we look at these retirement years, how many times, for example, does 2014 show up in this column? Well, we can count them, right? It shows up once, shows up twice. I think that's it. And as far as I can see, it shows up twice there. So what the frequency formula will do, it'll count the number of times that 2014 shows up, and it will come over here and it'll put a 2. And it will do the same thing with every year. So for example, it'll look and say, okay, how many times does 2010 show up? And it will count that as well. So this this formula is a little bit different, because when you enter this formula, you have to enter it as an array. And so usually what we do is we put the formula in here, and then we copy and paste it all the way down the cell. But the way we enter this formula is we actually have to highlight the cells first, and then we type in the formula. So I highlighted the cells where I want the formula to appear, and so I just enter the frequency formula, and I open the bracket, and you see what it's asked me for. It's asked me for the data array and the bins array. So the data array is in this column here. So I'm going to highlight this all the way to the end, and then I'm going to put a comma in, and then the bins array is everything in this column, 2010 to 2030, and that's it. So I go back up to my formula bar, I close the bracket, and I have my formula. Now, you can't press enter. As normal, you would just press enter and the formula will go in. But because this is an array of formula, you actually have to hold down the control key and the shift key, and then press the enter key on your keyboard. And when you do that, you'll see what happens is it puts the curly brackets around the formula, and more importantly, let me just get this out of the way. More importantly, it puts all of the values in here that we wanted. So for example, we now know that one person is retiring or could have retired in 2010, 0 in 2011, 0 in 2012, 1 in 2013, 2 in 2014, so on and so forth. And that's the count that we see. So this gives us kind of a summary of the information that's contained in this larger table over here. Now, the only thing that would make this better is if we put it into a graph. And the graph that we want is, I've already gone ahead and made the graph. The graph that we want is this one here. So this graph then is based on the data points, which are the frequency formula that we just calculated, and the years 2010 to 2030. And to get this graph, basically all you have to do, as you can see here, is these two columns are highlighted, and then we go up to our insert, and we say insert a column, and then we choose just the plain clustered column chart, and that should give us the graph that we're looking for. And that's how I was able to get this graph here. Now, a couple of things that I wanted to do just to dress it up was I did want to see the numbers on top of the bars. In order to get the numbers on top of all the bars, you just basically have to click on the bars. Let's see if there's a faster way of doing that. No, I guess that's the best way of doing it. Is just click on the bar, and then right click, and then you would go to format data labels, and you would just click label contains and then value, and where you want it outside on the end of the bar, and that's basically all you have to do to get that to show up. The other thing that we have here is the title, and once you're working inside the graph, you see that you do have these extra menu options. You can explore these, but basically if you go to layout and then chart title, you can pick where you want the chart title, and this one here is above the chart. And when you click above the chart, it puts in this box for you, and you can go inside of this box and just type anything that you want in there, and that becomes your chart title. There was at one time a legend on this graph as well, but I just clicked on it and pressed delete because we're only graphing one thing, so there's no need for a legend to show up there. So that's basically it for this project. The useful part of this project is that it provides us with some good information. It allows us to make a decision based on some information that we didn't have before. Basically, what we started off with was a list of employees when they were hired, what their birth date was, their gender, and their clearance. And from that data, we're able to generate information, and then we turn that information into knowledge, so that the HR manager has some idea of when people are retiring, so that they will have some idea of when to advertise for open positions if and when those people do retire, and that will help them a bit. So I'll leave it at that for now, and we'll end the video here.